Hi everyone, today I'm doing my April stock market portfolio review. This is where I talk about all the stocks in my portfolio. We look at how they're all doing individually. We add them all up and then we'll see if they have beaten the S&P 500. And that's kind of my target every month, is to see if I can beat the S&P 500. It's a good video because I know people like looking how my stock portfolio did, and it's also a good video for me because I can see which stocks are doing well, which ones are struggling a little bit, and yeah, it's helpful for me. It's good for the viewers as well. So it's a video that I really do enjoy doing. So this is for the return of April 2019. All these stock returns are taken from the 28th of the last month. Or the day after the 28th to the 28th of this month that's just gone. And all these stocks are in here are long-term holds. So I'm kind of looking for like a year to 5 years. That's how long I'm holding them for. And like I said, the target is to beat the S&P 500. There's a couple of new stocks in there, a couple of stocks I've held all year. But we'll have a look and we'll see how they've all done and if it's beating the S&P 500. So what's going to happen is I'm just going to go down the April column and see how they all did, and then look at the S&P 500. Obviously there's a stock down at the bottom that I'm not going to talk about because that's a brand new stock. But if you're good with your ticker symbols, it's quite an obvious one. You will be able to tell that I've bought into a new company, but I'm going to talk about that probably in a couple of days' time. But I have bought shares into that company, but that's all I'm going to give away. But yes, April. So we've got JD.com at the top. Them shares were actually down 3.38%, which I'm totally fine about because JD.com has had such a good run overall so far this year. We had Microsoft that is 10.13%. It had its best month. It had its best month this year so far, which was really good. Obviously, that was helped by earnings. Earnings were really strong, but just such a strong company that I want to add more shares in. Apple had a 7.75% return on its month. The last 3 months, Apple's just been absolutely amazing. Johnson & Johnson, same again, it's basically just a dividend stock, but that did return 0.43%. Visa returned 4.43%, so another good month for Visa. Like I say, it's just a company I'd like to add more shares in. I'd like to probably add MasterCard in at some point. But the payment sector overall, all the payment companies are just really strong. So if you don't have a payment company in your stock portfolio, I definitely would look at doing that. Constellation Brands, absolutely amazing. Best stock in my portfolio this month. 21% return. That was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, it really just came from the Canopy Growth kind of side of it, the investment in Canopy Growth. But that's really good, and that stock is actually getting near the price where I would potentially sell. So it might be the last month that Constellation Brands is actually in my portfolio. But a 21% return right there. Facebook, strong earnings again from them. That helped them return 14.8%. A stock that, even though with good earnings and has gone up overall, it's a stock that I still want to hold and potentially add some shares into. We'll see what happens. The worst return of the month and so far the year was Walgreens. That was down 16.47%. So that's why I added a couple more shares into Walgreens. It's beaten down quite badly, just how Constellation Brands was, but I believe that stock will return at some point, just like how Constellation Brands did. And also I like the dividend in that one as well. So I'm not too fussed about it going down. It just let me buy a few more shares in, but obviously that would have helped my return this year if it was a little bit better than what it is right now. CBRE, after the first, down slightly in the first month of being invested into it, it did go up 4.65%, which is pretty good, and I am looking to sell that out on like a 20% gain overall. So it's about a quarter of the way to where I would sell it. So yeah, I'm looking for a 20% return on that. Carnival Corporation, I'm looking for about a 30 to 40% return on that, and that's so far giving me 7.29% return. Great company, great revenue growth, great dividend play overall. So I wouldn't like that one to go up that quick, to be honest with you, because I want to hold it quite long and get a few of them dividends in. I was really looking at holding that for a year, to be fair, so hopefully it doesn't go up too much quicker than what it is now. But that gave me a total return of 5.07% of that month. The S&P 500 did 3.72%, so I beat the S&P 500 by 1.3% basically. And that puts my year-to-date return on 17.7%, and the S&P 500 is on 15.9%. So you can see there we're actually leading the S&P 500 right now for the second month in a row so far this year. So overall, I'm really happy with how my stocks did overall. There's going to be a couple of changes this month with a couple of stocks, and I'll update you when I do that. Obviously, May is a little bit more. April's a decent month. May's a little bit more of a rough month normally on history. If you look at May over the last few years, May is normally the month where you get a bit more of a less return in the stocks. Also, we've had a little bit of a good run, so we might see a little bit of sell-off, which would be good. A little bit of a correction to buy some stocks at a little bit cheaper price, it would be good. There's also that saying, you know, sell in May and go away, so we'll see what happens right there. But like I say, I'm happy with how things are going. It's a good return so far this year. Obviously, when you do individual stock picking, you do hope to have a better return, but if the month is negative overall, then obviously you tend to have a lot of individual stocks that are a lot negative than the S&P 500 for that month. So that's also something that could happen and put me below the S&P 500 for that month. And affect my total year returns. But at the moment, I'm ahead of it, and it'd be good if I do finish the year above the S&P 500 again. I've never actually had a return lower than the S&P 500, but there's always got to be a first, so we'll see what happens. But that's me updating you on my stock portfolio for April 2019. I hope the video helped you. And looking at someone else's portfolio, I hope it was quite informative, and thank you for watching. Near 230 subscribers, so pretty good if we can get there in like the next week. That would be pretty good, so thank you for all that support, and I'll see you on the next video.